Okay. Hopefully I am live and audio is coming through. Find out in just a second. Let's see. I'm gonna turn this mic around, and then let's see if the audio is coming through. Seems to be. All right, everyone. So last stream we completed the castle, so that is done. And tonight's stream I'm going to be poking around at the model I've been working on designing, along with ending probably a little bit early so I can do some voiceover for a video. So that is the plan for tonight. So the first thing I need to solve for are lanes for the cars. And keep this number in mind, 13, lucky number 13. So as people join, I will chat a bit about what I'm doing. So I don't think I like that. I think what I'm going to do is something more like this. Pull in modified plate. So I think the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to kind of treat it like so what I'm looking for, concrete separators. We'll see how it works. Bum, bum, bum. And I think I'm going to want it a little bit higher up than this. So I'm going to set this aside. And what we will do and the way that these kind of things work at some drive-in theaters, it really depends. That there is a a little stanchion thing or radio type thing that can be utilized in some examples. I actually should try to look it up. See if I can't find an example here. Drive-in theater radio stand. Nope. Got some dings there. Yeah. So this kind of thing. I'm going to add a window capture. Pull this out. So that right there. This thing is what I want to replicate. And they sit on little stands with a pull up. I think that'll be pretty easy to replicate here. So the way I'm going to do that, I think, there is a tile type here. And I will do something like this. Because whatever I do here, I'm going to end up replicating like a bajillion times over on this thing. There we go. I don't think a chrome silver is an option here. It'd be great if it was. But I got my reference. Hey Wyoming, how you doing? Hope all is well with you. And then there's a Technic linker type. At least I think it's Technic. Actually, I can do this. Find compatible bricks. Nah, it's not going to help me. Is it a type of bar? It is kind of like this thing. Question is, what is this thing called? It might be part of... I know what the thing is. I know what it looks like. It's what they use for candles a lot of times. You're leaving Arizona, so you're on the road again. Well, safe travels. Candle pieces. What are these called? I bet you I could just look up candle. Yep, that'd be it. Apparently that's what it's called, candle. And it doesn't come in silver. Dark tan, black. Oh look, it comes in a silver color. That's actually okay. I will use that. Maybe turn that yellow. Then I'll put something to cap it off. Something to clip on top of it. What category was this under? Minifigure utensil. Very weird. I meant to find something really weird to use this. Bet you there might be a Technic plate I can use. sure if there's anything sufficiently small enough. Yeah, I was thinking of this, but this is way too big. She's driving, so you get to relax. That's good. That's I like to do that when I can. I don't mind driving, but I'm actually usually very much okay with someone else doing it. Maybe this. I'm worried that's going to be a little bit too big. But I'm not sure what else I could use. And I think if I do that with... so right now I'm just worrying about the shape. And then, of course, I have to think about what's even available in the colors as well. I'm going to have a problem with that being... Oh, dark pearl gray. Interesting. I know this one's like on both sides, but I think that some examples I've seen aren't on both sides. The as long as the other person's a good driver, it doesn't matter to you. Well, yeah, exactly. It has to be someone I would trust to drive, certainly. I can't relax if you're, white knuckling the steering wheel or the dashboard. Okay, what if we... This software is lagging a bit. I wonder if it's because I'm running the OBS. Because that comes in a pearl silver as well. That's flat silver. It doesn't come in a gray. So can I use this in any kind of a clever way? That's the question. There is a T-bar style thing somewhere. I think it's a Technic pneumatic thing, I think. I'm not seeing... Here we go. So actually, maybe I can flip this on its head somehow. Most of the drive-in movies you've been to, poles were dark gray or black. Okay. Yeah, I was just using this one as an example. The actual colors, I'll determine after the fact. I'm just trying to see what my options will be. Because if I do something like this, then I can probably use some of these type of pieces like this. Oh, it doesn't like me doing that though. Okay, I think what I need to do here trying to see what I can do that would make this fancy. Whoops. It's not what you want to do. What about some of the binoculars? Can I do anything with this to make it interesting looking? No. But I could. Just trying things here. Trying to see if I can do something interesting to make it look somewhat unique. Because now I'm thinking if I can do this bracket piece, then I can do a grill plate on top of it. What air am I going for? Newer drives in that use FM radio signal instead of older boxes. I'm actually trying to blend it. I'll show you why. There's a reason I'm doing both. A lot of Lego aesthetics for their city stuff actually tends more towards like a 1950s style. It's kind of like by design. So there's two types of these. One that has a centerpiece and one that doesn't, I think. Is that right? Come on, quit lagging, tool. That has it. Oh, it's with a lip and without a lip. Okay. So I'll walk through my thinking. So what I was going to say is the 1950s era style is what they go for a lot. It's not even just 50s, it's like 40s, 30s. They go for a slightly older design philosophy, more stone buildings, more interesting architecture, not so modern. And the reason they do that is because I think it's a lot more interesting visually. But I still want all the modern sensibilities, so I want the throwback. So I'm kind of doing a blend. And so here is my thinking. So if we go take a moment to do a tour of everything I've done. I'm going to go into a step view so I can walk through all this, because it'll make more sense when you see that. So as this gets built, and you can ignore the tablet, but we build up support of the parking lot. Like so. So it's just this is a lot of support you'll never see. And you build up all that. Well, eventually, This is the support grid structure we have. And we start adding grass and parking, pavement, and a lot of the tiles that connects all the things, and curbs. So that's going to start making our road, and this is where I'm working right now to try to do some conceptual stuff. You build it out, and so there's our parking lot, basically. Now, I've worked on the water tower a ton. And if I actually zoom in on that section here. So now I build up a foundation, and I have an entire submodel that is this water tower. It has a little pump thing down here at the bottom with some valves to just kind of make it more interesting to build and a little bit more visually interesting. It's got all the supports. I decided to go with gray for the supports because I can more or less unify on that. And up here, conceptually, one of the things I was going for is people would sneak in, and when I put the fence in, the conceit is someone is using this little broken part of the fence to sneak in, climb up the water tower with some pizza and a radio, and they're going to watch from up here. And so in order for that to make sense, I need the FM radio signal. But I'm creating it like a hybrid because I want more visually interesting things to build. And so this is supported, put in trees and things. So the snack hut that I built, as it gets built out and up, it's got a couple things. Here we go. So this is the interior of the snack hut, and then it gets filled with all of my snack machines and stuff that I've built. I have a soda machine, a popcorn machine, and a pretzel thing. It's really all I had space for. I didn't really have space for anything else. So, and then there's some cash registers that are on the side. And stairs that come up to a second floor. And then I have floor 2. And floor 2 has a little air conditioning unit and a projector room. And on the inside of the projector room, if I actually go to floor 2, okay, great. I'll take a look at that in just a second then. If I go look at the second floor, this piece here, this roof piece, it's got a little antenna on top of it, but there's like a little radio thing over here is kind of the idea. You got a projector and some film canisters and whatnot. So the idea is that everything's controlled from the projector room. Up here. And then it's broadcast. So the person who's stealing the radio, the FM radio, is getting that. But then I also want the concept that you've got like the old 1950s style. So I'll go open up the Discord and take a look at what you sent me. Let me find it. Okay, so that one's kind of a gray color as well. So that's very similar, though, to what I was kind of building based on the eBay image. So, I mean, we'll use that. We'll use that as the basis, that kind of design as the basis. So, I am doing a hybrid for that reason. And I have to think about the height of cars. I'm going to end up having to kind of like build a Lego car and see what the height of all this should be. Maybe should even be lower than this. Perhaps. I don't know yet. But yeah, I've got my screen built as well with supports on the back. And it's white on the back, so if you leave it just open without a tablet, it looks like a big white screen, but then you can drop a 10-inch tablet into it to be like an actual video screen. And And I have like a little entry gate here that's operated so people can drive up, get the ticket, get in, or have a ticket, get in. And I have a billboard, and I'll end up designing stickers for a lot of this stuff. So I've been doing a lot of design and detailing work, and making it both interesting to build as well as visually interesting while keeping it fairly reasonable. It's a lot of different challenges, so I'm trying to consider all those things. But yeah, they just kind of look like speakers hanging off the edge. And so if that's the case, the other option is to use one of these double-sided things. And I can do 2 different designs here and see which one I'd prefer. Like this. Whoa. Didn't like that. And I can do something to kind of support it upward, which would probably be a bracket piece. Yes, that's not going to work. I need this to stop deciding that it's going to make my life hard. So yeah, I'm just going to have to play around with this. And maybe there is this option as well. There are these angle pieces. So maybe I can utilize these somehow. I have to think about how I would do that. Yeah, I'm not sure what the best option here is going to be. I could maybe do something with this clip piece. Actually, I think what I'm going to do here, I'm about to send all this to a submodel. It'd be easier to edit without any lag. So it's possible I could do something with some clips here. One of the issues of doing things at angles with Lego is a square-based building system. And angles on a micro scale is kind of hard to do. Very, very, very difficult to do, honestly. So I'm going to have to just play with it for a while. It's possible I use something like this. Okay, wait, if I use that, Okay, what if I sandwich this? Do this whole thing like this. And then put another plate. Like that. Does that work? All right, let's go with this as a concept. Does that work? Seems very bulky. I'm a little bit worried about not leaving enough space for cars. So what if I'm going to take this and I'm going to just move it out of the way. I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to rethink how I do all of it. Because my thinking is I could build it to the side and have it loop around with that bracket piece. So if you think about the bracket piece here, if I get a piece like this, there's so many of these, which one is the better one to use here? Okay. Like if I do this, does that make it any more tight? Probably not, but can I rotate it now? Because now I can angle it down. So I take these out. That'll allow it to rotate down. And that's probably too much. But that allows me to do this. Oops. Yeah, I wish I could make them half as thick. I mean, that's why I have to play around with it, right? But that would be the idea. So the other way to make that half as thick now is to make this be something that can fit into that. So that would be potentially just a pretty standard brick style. But I could also do a round one with a boom, one of these, and that would allow me to just slide it on the end here. And see, it's not deep enough. I need to go a lot deeper, and that's really in the way now. So what if I do this? Even simpler of a design. Like that. Oh. I'm going to do 2 of these. Am I doing it too? Oh, it's because it's interacting with that. So that's just a rotation problem. Rotate it back up. Start there. Yeah, put a car so I can see the scale. Well, that's I might actually, there might be one. There is, when you do a new model, not a new model, when you open I feel like there is a car as a model. Let me actually see if I can just find one I can import. I don't want to close out the software. Can I do a new instance of it? Control new. Was it prefab stuff? I feel like one of the things that existed in this thing was a prefab car model. I'm not seeing it. How do I bring in? I think I'm going to do this, because I think when I close it out, and it's going to kill my ability to stream it for a moment, but when I reopen, yeah, so you can see that now. I'm going to look for a real basic car here. Why does that search not do anything? Car. Weird. That's not helpful in the least. Give me the height. Import. Okay, so why does that thing disappear? All right, well, let's do this. I know there's a car chassis piece. Somewhere. Wow, I thought there was, but apparently the only one that exists is this Fabuland thing. Let's see, vehicles. And I feel like that's a detail I'll have to just kind of work on. The speaker should be smaller than driver's windows, yeah. Well, those normally like hook, right? Like you lift them off and you hook them on. But I don't think that's actually going to be a thing that this is going to really be able to do. Maybe we can. About a bajillion different ways I could do this, I think. And that's the question is, what's the right way? Because this is a very static version, as if like they don't unhook. So this is just purely like a visual thing instead of it being like a functional. Because you're not really going to be able to make it truly functional. But that would make it kind of look like a speaker stand, kind of. And then these are somewhat rotatable. Get about 13-degree. And I can what just happened here? Something broke. Okay. Find my pearl light gray. You know, maybe I'll do like a really weird gaudy color. You know how this has this kind of, the picture you sent me, Wyoming has this green color, so maybe I can do it gray. Maybe I find like an interesting greenish color, like a medium green, something very retro. And I can make this the metallic silver. No, it doesn't like this green color. So let's find a better green color. What are my options? Yellowish green. Lime. Bitch, that's way too bright. Yeah, not a chance. Think about those awful 19 kind of 60s color palettes that are just, you know, painful to actually look at. Maybe I'll do like a coral instead. Doesn't like that either. Dark pink. I think this one's going to be the holdout. What can I use for this? Yeah, I think it's going to have to be some sort of silver color. Yeah, that's what. See, I was kind of thinking that aqua bluish, greenish color. There's actually an aqua, but the problem is I don't know if the bracket's going to come in that color. Yeah. He really only comes in grays and tan and whatnot. So I think we're going to kind of be stuck with the light bluish gray. Something like this. All right. Going back to the main model here. I feel like that sits much lower profile compared to everything else. And I forgot that I need to move this stuff up. So let me do that real quick. There we go. But this whole model step would be one whole submodel. Spot divider. I don't have a better term. Because what that allows me to do now is, so if I come over here, pull in my mystery machine here. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pips wide, 8 studs. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's like 8 by 16, so twice as long as it is wide. And so if I think about that, when I'm thinking about lane sizes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My 8 is right in line with this. So like the mystery machine wouldn't fit in that spot as a note. And it's a 2 minifigure wide model essentially. So what I can do I could do something like this. Because I need something to connect them. You want them kind of connected well. But let's see if I can, I'm thinking through what I could actually do. Tile modified. It's called a plate modified, isn't it? The way they categorize these things sometimes is not. Maybe it is a tile modified. Where's my piece? It's right here. So if that fit there, then the problem is that this one is going to run into the same problem, right? If I copy and paste this, well, one, two, three, four. Well, of course, then again, this would be on. Would there be one of these for every 2 spots? Yeah, quit dinging at me. So would there be one on, it's 1 per car, right? Is that how that works? I'm looking at vintage pictures of drive-in theaters right now. Yes, it is for every 2 cars. So you wouldn't do that. You would have it here. And you would probably flip it around on this side. Like so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 would park right next to it. Then you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 would be right there. Well, you get like two cars parked right next to each other. And this is where I begin to wonder if I wouldn't be better set doing slightly wider lanes. So if I took this and just let that clip, oh, come on, thing. Just do it this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. So it's an extra wide lane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can do the same thing here. Like that. So that would be 3 cars that could park wide, basically. And at a 1 post per 2 cars, 10 by 18 per space. So I think that's what we're, yeah, so, yeah. Jumping around through far too many windows, Wyoming, so sometimes I'm not catching up with what you're saying yet. But I think that's accurate. And then you need space for the car to drive in. And then you do it all over again. So if this received a thing to park up against, that might be too high. Might be better off doing it just one down. Make a little lip. Dividing these into all their distinct steps is going to take a while as well. Oh, here's an interesting problem. Because I'm setting it offset, now I have to think about that as well. So this is this kind of piece to support everything back there. And I think the way this is actually going to work now, it's going to be one of these pieces underneath there with a tile. If I do this, something like that. So this carved chair, and let's see, where's my split? Here's my splits. Whatever I build here will actually connect these two as well. That is a thing to consider with this. But I might end up doing something to kind of curve in this curb as well. The space constraints here are difficult to work with. Because you also have to consider space here. I wonder if I shouldn't back this up. We were saying 10 by 18. Uh-oh. Had a interruption in my connection there. Kind of weird. No problem. Wyoming, I was apparently hitting a dead spot as well. I lost connection briefly. I'm wondering if this shouldn't be done. I'm looking at vintage pictures again. cars are really stacked on top of each other a lot of times. And when I look at that, put a motorcycle. I'm trying to count how many cars I can fit, and think about how realistically like the traffic pattern would look like. Yeah, I would do like motorcycle parking over here or something. Cars coming in and parking. Same here. 1, 2, 3. The other option is to back them up a bit and have it so that there are lanes that then they pull out of in the front as an exit. So first in, first out kind of thing. And that would, like, I would remove these as like, you know, essentially it would be like a concrete stop, and it would just be a inlay on the tile, so it would look like a painted road. So people would pull up, and they'd be kind of stacked one on top of each other down a lane. So that's what I'm thinking of now. And if I did that, then what I'd want to do is something like this. And this would be like this. And that way you wouldn't need these. Yeah, 10 by 18 leaves one row on the side, but that would be like the exit lane. So my thinking now, my thinking out loud is something like this. I take these over here. Oops. I can't do the inlay, so maybe I don't do that at all. Artificially enforced by a car pulling up, I suppose. But I could get one more behind this one. On this one. can actually adjust all of these up a bit. Oops. And I'll measure these out to be the right length. But I would think that I'd be able to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that would be 9 cars, and then you could do like some motorcycle parking or something. And that's, you know, for a minifigure scale of this thing, it's actually quite a lot of cars. What's my length here? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let me go into the spot divider model. And the Mystery Machine I'm using as a basis, but I'm just thinking of larger vehicle sizes. Some Lego vehicles are teeny tiny. Well, Wyoming, what I'm actually thinking here, let me show you. Going to get a big plate. It's going to represent, this is an 8 by 16. This would be the largest size of a car. So the idea would be, car drives in. Oh. Car drives in. Turns. Drives up. Turns again. And then drives up to its spot. There. Right? Next car does the same thing but parks behind them, and then one more. So you'd have an entry, and I can do this with like arrows on the asphalt as well, but they pull in, they pile up, and then this here will become their exit to leave, would be the idea. It's just a thought. But if this is, oops. You know, if that's my car, and that needs to be there, kind of like that. And the problem with that now, of course, is it doesn't give me much room here for people to park. See, now I have like this other issue of spacing. But I think 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think if I do roughly this, I'll have to modify it. it's enough space for most vehicles, most cars. All my vehicle models are not down here for the most part. But I'll have to play with it. But this is my thinking anyway. For how one way I could do it. And so people come in and then loop to leave. I don't know. But I'm going to need to quit there because I need to go record some voiceover stuff for a review video. So I will revisit this. This is the challenge I've been running up against with some of these things. Is as big as this thing is, space constraints are very real. I could always potentially extend this a bit, but I wanted to leave this whole grassy area. So I'll have to figure it out another time. All right, well, that was a fun little stream. And I will see everyone later.